Hi, and welcome to Post-Burnout.com interviews. Post-Burnout.com is a culture website dedicated to venerating burnt-out artists the world over. My name is Aaron Kavanagh, and I'm the website's founder and editor-in-chief. This is our website's podcast where we interview people from various artistic disciplines. These episodes are sometimes full-length interviews from our site's articles and other times exclusives. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. And if you're new here, thanks for checking us out. We hope you'll like it and stick around with us. In this edition of Post-Burnout.com interviews, we speak with the Portlaoise musician Olivia Emade. Olivia discusses her latest single, Dear God, transitioning from her early work into Christian-oriented music, some of the fear and apprehension she had while making this transition, working with producer KxngBari, the Portlaoise music scene, her background, and how she feels more liberated now.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Honestly, it's very exciting.
Yeah, no worries. I guess I'll just start from with a very simple question, which is just what's your kind of background in music? I believe you started at quite a young age, actually.
Yeah. So I've always been singing since I was young, and when I was younger, I did theater, so musicals, and like I was part of drama schools for like years. So there's that as well, and then singing in church and stuff like that. So I've always had the singing, and then obviously maybe a bit of acting as well, uh, in me for a very long time. And then it was during COVID time that I was like, decided to start making like music with my best friend who's a producer, and start, singing in a way where I'm releasing my own songs, like songwriting as well. So that's very exciting too.
Yeah, so how old would you have been when you kind of started releasing music under your own name?
Say that again.
How old would you have been when you started releasing music under your own name?
Oh yeah, I only started releasing in 2021.
Okay.
So under my own name, I think it's 2 years now, I think. Yeah. So that's when I started releasing during COVID. I think a bit after COVID. Um, yeah. So a bit later actually than, you would think, but yeah.
Okay. So would the COVID kind of give you like a spark of creativity? Because I know for a lot of people like being kind of like banged up in their homes, they kind of, they kind of like had to get an output somehow. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, I feel like it's also allowed me because my friend was always like learning how to be a producer for a long time, but it never really clicked that I could join with him. So his older brother was writing something and wanted me to help him with that. So when I was helping him with that and then working with my friend and his older brother, it kind of like sparked something in me. I was like, oh my days, this is very, cool. And with the COVID time, me and him had a lot of time because we live in the same town. So we had a lot of time to work together and create, and write together and, do music together. So I feel like COVID allowed that like time and space to be like creative and to like work together, in the same time, obviously following the quarantines and stuff. But yeah,
Sure. Well, this was in County Leash, right?
yes, County Leash. I'm from Portlaoise.
Okay. So what was the kind of music scene like there?
Um, Not really existent. I think
Okay.
it's very, very small. So, I would have been mostly in Dublin for college when I was doing most of the music stuff, especially after COVID. But in Portlaoise, we do have our artists. I don't know if you know Sosa Sensei, he's a
Yes,
rapper as
yes.
well. Yeah, but besides that, it's just very quiet here.
Okay. Which, sometimes a good thing, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So then, when you kind of you said like you were doing music up here in Dublin, it was like, how'd you find that kind of going from kind of like a relatively, kind of non-existent scene, as you said, to kind of like, I don't know, probably one of the busiest music scenes in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, it was very like I found out that networking is so important, and I feel like in Dublin there's a lot of events and a lot of opportunities more to see other people and talk to other people and network with other people to get photographers and videographers, for example.
Sure.
Whereas in Portlaoise that's obviously very hard. I do feel like the competition though is like serious.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but it's also I feel like Dublin does have way more like facilities, like the studios and opportunities to do performances and stuff. Whereas in Portlaoise, that's not the case. But I think the good thing about Portlaoise is maybe I can create my own thing for
Yeah.
people to come and see and create my own entertainment, which is also a good thing.
Are there like venues around the town that you can utilize or anything like that?
Yes, we do have like because when I was doing drama school, we have a theater, like a Dunamase theater.
Mhm.
And then, also like pubs as well and,
Right.
stuff like that. So yeah, definitely.
As someone like yourself who got into music at quite a young age, I mean, do you find that there's enough kind of like facilities for under 18s who want to go to shows and want to enjoy live music too?
Oh, maybe, maybe I feel like I found that out more in when I moved to Dublin for college. Definitely, like there's
Yeah.
loads of different things happening and loads of like small artists doing, shows and loads of places where you can actually just have fun. But in Portlaoise, no, not
It's all
really.
pubs, yeah. Yeah, I guess like you could do, I guess matinee shows, perhaps that's probably the best
Yeah.
option. So then, when it kind of like when you started your own kind of like music career, correct me if I'm wrong. So, from what I'm understanding from what you're saying is like you initially kind of started by doing kind of features on your friends' songs, and then you kind of like from there decided to like start doing it yourself and doing your own music. At that time, what was kind of like inspiring you to write? What were you kind of like interested in putting pen to paper about?
Yeah. I feel like earlier on I was more like writing just about like life lessons and stuff. Like my first song anyways was like a love story kind of thing. And it
Right.
wasn't really related to me personally, but I do love like reading and I love, movies and stuff. So I feel like I created a story in my mind and wrote, like Are You at Home, which was my first song based
Yeah.
on that. And then my next two songs I definitely focus. I like to, I feel like I like giving advice to my friends, like definitely like that. They like they know me and they know that I'm like that. So I kind of used, my songs to write about any advice that I've learned either through my journey with my religion or through my mom or anything like that. So my second song, which is Think, is, about, giving people grace and learning not to judge other people without looking at ourselves. Whereas my third song would be about like, and this is more related to me, when you get so caught up in the life that you forget about maybe family and friends and, having time to, taking the good moments because those moments can just fly by when you're just so focused on like goals and work life and stuff like that. So that's it. But I feel like with this new song that I'm coming out, I feel like I'm going more into my um, more into my relationship with, God and my religion and more focused into, just actually, like speaking about, what God has spoken to me about. So yeah, I feel like I'm going diving more deeper into that when it comes to songwriting. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, so for your new song is called "Dear God," and I was wondering because like this is, I think, like having listened to your music, I think this is the most kind of like personal in terms of your relationship with religion. I mean, people's relationship with religion is a very personal thing. I was wondering for you, was that something you had to kind of like build up towards, or was that something you always wanted to do from the get-go?
Like, do you mean as in write about,
Yeah,
my
sorry, yeah,
relationship?
write about it in
Yeah.
terms of yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely built it up. I feel like initially I feel like that's why my other songs were so like maybe generic is what I would call them.
Okay.
In terms of the message, like, but um, I definitely feel like only recently I realized that I really do actually want to go deeper into it and go deeper into my perspective on my relationship with God. So yeah, it's definitely recently.
And do you think like because kind of listen to the lyrics, I mean, it is very much about the appreciation of God and it's kind of an ode to God and his like love for you. I was wondering, do you find then that like that is there ever like an attempt to kind of inspire other listeners with that music?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. I feel like a lot of us in this world are really focused on the things that we do wrong.
Yeah,
I feel like we're focused, either Christians, non-Christians, we're really hard on ourselves
right.
basically. And I feel like this song is not only for people who know God, but also people who don't know God. And, they realize that, oh, there's actually someone out there that actually appreciates me and loves me, no matter what the bad things that, you do. And this is what like the main message of the song, that he has like grace for every single person, especially for those who are really hard on themselves. And I feel like I feel like anyone can appreciate this message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And actually, I want to also talk about the production on it because it's just produced by with KxngBari. Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed there's like a real shift sonically in this song compared to your other work. I was wondering exactly how like well first of all for yourself, I mean, what was the kind of aim in terms of the musicality of this song
Mm.
compared to your other tracks, and how do you think that was kind of achieved?
Yeah, I feel like recently my taste in music, like what I listen to, has actually changed a lot. I feel like that really heavily was, used in this, song.
Yep.
So there's this new artist that I've been listening to for a lot. His name is Sunday. His artist name is Sunday.
Okay.
It's spelled like Sondae. And I've recently been listening to him a lot, and I said to myself, oh, I want to create this type of melody. So I feel like with the previous songs, it was more, um, I wasn't morely, I wasn't too into, too, because they're all very different. So I wasn't really
Yep.
too, like, inspired by other people when we were creating the music. But for Dear God, I feel like me and my producer really were inspired by a few songs from Sunday, especially from his new album. So when my producer was making the songs, I sent him like three songs from him, and he kind of created something simple. Because of a lot of the previous songs, they're very like heavy production, like it's a lot more layers. Whereas this song is very stripped back, and it's not too you know full on.
Yep.
So I feel like this one was way more intentional with the way I wanted it to sound, and I want my music to kind of gear towards that in the future to sound more like that. So yeah.
Actually, from your performance, I find that your voice is a lot more mature than this. I mean, obviously, I mean that could just be a result of age as well as just like adapting to performing for a long period of time. But I was
Thank you
wondering,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah, do you find that your vocal performance is different on this than what's came prior?
Yeah, I actually I don't know if I actually even noticed it, to be honest, but I feel like um other people that I've shared the song with so far, they mention like, oh, your voice is like so good in this one, like it's different. And I was like, oh my days, that's true. I do feel like listening, I did this week, I remember listening to Are You at Home, and I realized that there was like a note, like a difference in it. And I didn't think it was intentional, to be honest, but I feel like also I think the type of music that I was singing, maybe like I feel like it was more poppy, and maybe my voice comes out more with more of a, how do I explain, more of a stripped back kind of melody, I think.
Yep.
So I definitely do see a change in my voice, definitely. And I feel like also throughout the years, I did vocal training for like 5 years when I was younger. But I feel like after that, especially entering college, the end of secondary school, I kind of forgot some of the training that I got in singing. So
Yep.
I don't know if I would say that my singing is like, it's not bad, but it's not really at its best in those previous songs. So I've been doing a lot of vocal training myself now, and I think it came out a lot in Dear God. So yeah.
One thing I was wondering also is like now that you kind of like made transition, you're saying like no, this like it seems like your religious faith is going to be like kind of influencing your music going forward. Um, I was just wondering, do you ever like what's there ever concern that like potentially you just get like I don't know pigeonholed as like a Christian artist, whatever like that means, or were you kind of
Yeah.
just content to be like no, I'm still the same artist, I don't care, like I want to be I want to be judged as an individual artist, not as a part of some bigger scene.
Mm. Do you mean like as in bigger scene, as in like the Christian kind of music
Yeah,
scene,
I
or
think I
just
think I think there's like a connotation when people hear like Christian music, you know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's like I don't know, but like when you actually break it down, I mean, like Christian music, it's just music with Christian themes in it, and like the actual the sound of it and the music that's being produced varies a lot. I mean, you get like Christian country
yeah,
and Christian rock and Christian punk and hip
yeah,
hop, and it's very varied. You know what I mean?
yeah. I do agree, and I feel like I do feel like it was like a thought that came into my mind, like, oh, people won't see you the same as they did, before when you did your other songs. But I said to myself, like, to be honest, I didn't really mind that.
Yeah,
And I said personally, to be honest, I actually don't mind being known as like a Christian or putting in that general kind of box, to be honest, because at the end of the day, there's a huge community of like Christians in Ireland and stuff. So I feel like even if it doesn't go to everybody, which obviously I would like it to, I
yeah,
feel like I do have still a huge market, if you get what I'm saying,
totally.
of people.
And I
Yeah.
don't think like from my perspective, I don't think like your music in any way is like exclusionary. Having listened to the song, I think it's like
Mhm.
still about as you were kind of mentioned, like it has a resonance no matter what your faith is. You know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah, exactly.
it's just kind of like really when you kind of boil it down, it is a song about love and self appreciation. I mean, like if you think about it, like
Mhm.
whether you whether you think it's like divine or not, like we are individuals that are like, you know what I mean? And it's like,
Yeah.
it's just about having kind of an appreciation for that. So that's how I read the song anyway. So
Mhm.
I don't know, like I think it does have resonance for a multitude of
Everybody.
people.
Yeah. That's it. Definitely.
Yeah.
I
So
agree.
so what do you think like going forward then? Like what do you think you like your music holds for you? Generally speaking, actually one thing I also wanted to ask was compared to like what you were listening to when you first started versus where you're listening to now, you were saying that there's kind of been a bit of a change. And from your perspective, I mean,
Yeah.
how do you think that how do you think like the music you listen to it's kind of like changed and in turn how do you think that kind of changed your music?
Yeah. At
Sorry,
the
that was long
beginning,
winded.
oh no, no, no. At the beginning, I feel like just more now. I feel like I'm getting more into because recently I found, like you said, Christian music has like loads of different kind of, you know, types. You have pop, you have even punk, you have country, you have
Yeah.
contemporary or whatever. And I feel like I have, I've always listened to like gospel music as well, but I feel like I've discovered like pop Christian music and contemporary Christian music and rap Christian music and Afrobeat Christian music and stuff like that.
That's cool.
But whereas before, I wouldn't have been listening to those types before. So I would listen to like, any, artists. And I still listen to those artists, like The Weeknd, Ariana Grande, etc., all that kind of stuff. I do, but I feel like I'm gearing more towards just solely, Christian music because of the discovery of all these like types of Christian music.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like when I started listening, especially to Sunday, because Sunday is a Christian artist and he doesn't sound like your generic gospel Christian artist at all. But when I started to listen to him, I was like, oh, you can do music like this. Like
Yeah.
you can still have your faith strong and then have it sound like this. And that is exactly what I wanted to achieve, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, actually, I
And
think that's
hopefully continue.
sorry. I think that's like a really good kind of like project. Is the idea of like, because yeah, I think like people, it's not like they're engaging with like Christian music and having an opinion about it. It's just like kind of based on I guess stereotype. It's just based on like what they perceive. Whereas I think it is kind of like good to just have like perception just kind of come out and go like, no, like this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like just kind of exposing people to I don't know like different variations on that team. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you find it then difficult actually to kind of go back to kind of music that maybe you were inspired by once that now seems kind of antithetical to your views basically?
Yeah. I feel like I would like, do you mean the music I listen to or the music I make?
The music you listen to, I mean, like if you're talking about like let's say music that isn't exactly Christian, let's
Yeah, I
to
get
put it
what you mean.
politely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like right now I'm going through a stage where I feel like, when maybe I just don't have the desire to like listen to like my main focus, like I'm just solely just focused on listening to the music that I'm listening to now, which is like, Christian music, to be honest.
Yeah.
And there are a few artists I still listen to that, I like absolutely love, like Ray. I don't know if you know who Ray is.
Yep.
I love her. I will still listen to her stuff, or I don't know if you know, there's like this TikTok artist called Tate McRae, and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
came out with, yeah, she came out with an album and stuff like. I love those type of songs. So I would still like, I still find it like fine to listen to, those types of artists, but I feel like my focus is just not really fully there because I just love discovering new like Christian artists and new Christian songs and stuff. So yeah, but I feel like I do get there's a difficulty though, because some are like really, some songs are really opposite
Hmm.
to what, would like a Christian song would like speak about. So maybe it would be difficult to go to them, especially if they're really popular.
Sure.
Um, but I think I'm mostly just focused on, sorry if you hear noise in the
No, no
background.
worries.
I think I'm mostly just focused on, my Christian music. And I feel like, I feel like when I'm focused on something, I don't even think about the,
Yeah.
the other stuff, to be honest. But yeah.
That's fair. And I guess like one of the final things I'll ask you is like I've noticed like actually since Dear God's coming up and since the kind of the press and the promos, it's out on Friday. Since the kind of press and promo for it, like you've kind of like basically started anew, it seems like kind of everything is like on social media seems to be like a fresh new start, a new slate almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, do you find it now more kind of liberating now that you've kind of like made this kind of declarative statement, like here's my beliefs, here's my views, and this is what I'm going to make
Mhm.
music about going forward. Is it liberating? Is it freeing?
Definitely. It definitely is. Definitely is. I feel like before I battled with, if I wanted to, because I think I did want to make music so that everyone can actually just it makes sense to everybody.
Hmm.
So that's why I feel like I didn't my other songs were not too heavily, on God or heavily Christian related. But I feel like definitely it definitely is a relief. And I feel like I'm more happier as well with the content that I'm releasing for this song. I feel like the visuals and everything are way better than my
Yeah.
previous ones. So I feel like that's why it felt good to just, okay, let's strip this and let's start anew with this visuals, because I have like a music video coming out for it on Sunday as well, and also the visuals that the videographer, like the director, did as well for just promoting it. I just like love it so much. So I feel like I am definitely relieved with just it being like a new start kind of thing.
Yeah. So this is kind of like the trajectory you're going on, and I
Yeah,
think like people will be very receptive to it. I mean, I think there's a
hopefully.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully. I guess one final thing I'll ask is like, what's your plans for 2024 coming up?
2024, I have a few. Like, I don't like saying my goals. I don't know why. I just feel like, but I do hope to release in like an EP. I do want to release an EP, and I remember saying I wanted to. I remember after my first song, I wanted to be releasing an EP, and my
Yeah.
producer was like, "No, no, let's just relax for a few. This is only the first song." And
Yeah.
I'm really glad I waited until I knew exactly what I was doing. But I hopefully want to do that and hopefully have either like a show where either like a headline show or a listening party, anything anyways, where I like have just either like it like need either a worship kind of session or a headline show for like that EP that will come out. But that's the plan anyways, hoping for that to happen. But I
Perfect.
say it will.
And then 2024 is the year Portlaoise becomes the music center of Ireland.
Amen.
Thanks very much for your time, Olivia, and best of luck with the single. I'm sure it'll do very well.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for interviewing me. It was such an honor.
Absolutely, and thanks for the interest.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too. Take care.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening to that episode of Post-Burnout.com interviews. If you liked it, please subscribe and stick around because we have plenty more like this coming soon.